Punk IPA, which many people know, which was the first beer we ever made, and we also have a prototype we've been working on, which is Punk X with no label as yet. So the idea behind this was to take what is our flagship beer and use what we've learned since we started over 3 years ago to make our flagship beer better. So it's the same hops, but we've added more hops. It's double dry hop. The bitterness units has come down from 7 to 40. So same ingredients, but used in a slightly different way to get a more punchy effect. Yeah, so let's taste them side by side and see what we think. Okay, so this is traditional now, I suppose, IPA, Punk IPA, and this is the new one. You can see definitely straight away, you can see some cloudiness here. What's that all about? Well, we want to filter it as lightly as possible. So when you're filtering a beer, you're stripping out flavour, aroma, mouthfeel, and these are the things that we work so hard to get in our beer. So we don't care if it's a little bit hazy. What we care about is the kind of best experience for the drinker, which is maximum flavour and maximum aroma. Shall we start with the, you know, the one that we all know, of course, in the Systembolaget everywhere. You can see it on the shelves and go out and buy it. Really the beer that kind of puts BrewDog on the map as far as, you know, as far as Sweden's concerned anyway.
It makes me jealous now.
Bags full of, I'll put it over there so you can't reach it. Bags full of energy in this beer, isn't it? It's just a zingy beer. It just sort of makes you smile. It's one of those make you smile beers for me. You know, you can't fail but have an opinion about this beer. A lot of bitterness going on at the end. Yeah. A lot of fruits, tropical fruit sort of buzz as well at the beginning. Lovely little balance of, you know, sweetness up front, tropical sort of almost like juices, and then bang, the hops come in and they really sort of finish you off, don't they? So it's almost a little bit like a wolf in sheep's clothing. It looks quite sweet, quite innocent in the glass. It certainly isn't. Yeah. And it grows a lot of teeth. You get the kind of honey, biscuit, cinnamon malt sweetness in the tip of your tongue. You get the Nelson Sauvin, the kiwi, the lychee, the gooseberry in the side of your tongue, and then you get the bitterness that just kind of builds and endures at the back of your throat. So very aggressive, very zippy. And our thoughts was that sometimes the beer just kind of was on a knife edge, and sometimes there just was hardly enough mouthfeel and hardly enough body in there to handle that massive onslaught of bitterness at the end of the beer. And we also thought for an IPA we could maybe make it a little bit more hoppy, which is why we turned the volume up and started dry hopping Punk X. So Punk X, and then we're going to Punk X. Yeah, James explained the reason why it's cloudy like that. I mean, you know, so it's very lightly filtered, this one, so it really is raw stuff. It looks raw, it looks dangerous. But in terms of the hops, it's actually, you haven't sort of dumbed it down in terms of hops, you've actually amplified it. There's more hops in Punk X than there was in Punk IPA, significantly more, so it's about 70% more hops in there. It takes us much longer to make, we incur much more losses because there's dry hopping process, so it's not about making Punk IPA cheaper or anything. It actually takes much longer and it's much more expensive to make, but we're about making the best beer that we can make, and we think this is the best thing that we can do with Punk IPA. Straight on the nose here. I mean, it just explodes out of the glass. Wow, isn't it? I mean, it's basically, it's just crawling out of the glass, this one. It's just a huge amount of, it's quite sweet, sort of tropical fruit notes to it. Apricot, peach, pineapple. It was what was in the old Punk, as it were, but as you say, you just turn the volume up. Amplified. So we also wanted to give it a little bit more mouthfeel, so original Punk was only extra pale malt. This one uses a tiny bit of caramel as well, which just kind of means you get it across the whole front of your palate, just kind of beefs up the mouthfeel initially, which we want for a beer that's 6%. In terms of ABV, are they the same? No, Punk X is coming down to 5.6, okay. So we've taken it down a tiny bit. Okay. But drinkability written all over this beer, absolutely, isn't it? Because although it's got a load of flavours in there, it's still got that really refreshing sort of crisp end to it, you know, that bitter end to it, and that's what's making you want to come back and drink another one, I think. Well, without the kind of big bitter finish, it wouldn't be a Punk beer. We wouldn't put the Punk name on it, but a lot more flavour, a lot more aroma, a lot more mouthfeel. So we think this is a evolution of Punk. Good to see. So now you know. Darwin would be very excited. He's only human, old scab. Mr. BeerSweden.se.fm.tv, Punk or Punk X? I'm going to go Punk X. That's the first sensible thing you said all day. Yeah, that is the first, and probably the last. But, and I'll tell you why. Because I think it's got everything, it's the big brother in a way. It's got everything that the original Punk's got. But it's kind of, I love the fruit because I think it's more fruity, this one. There's a lot more sort of fruits going on, and the drinkability factor. I think you ramp that up a little bit as well, and I think that's important in a beer like Punk because it's a social beer. It's a beer that you want to drink with your mates and your friends and so on, and it's just so drinkable. So that's why. Right? Did I say the right things?
We'll pay you later. You may or may not see this in Sweden.